Welcome back to Willoughby Park here at the Langley Event Center, home of yet another PACWEST soccer doubleheader between Langara and the visiting Douglas Royals. The women's result is already in the books, a 1-1 draw, which means the men's affair is up next. Langara, the reigning champions and top of the table on 9 points. They host third seeded, if you will, Douglas on 6 points. They've already met once this year, a 1-0 result the way of Langara in white. Let's get you the starting 11s. First for the visiting Douglas Royals in goal. Number 1, Matthew Miller. Number 3, Elijah Quinto. Number 4, Philippe Capek. Number 6, Luke Shackleton. Number 9, Jack Spencer. Number 10, Spencer Millette. Number 11, Keyshawn Francois. Number 16, Leo An. Number 17, Gavin Johnston. Number 20, Eamon Samadine. And number 25, Rio Yoshida. The head coach for the Douglas Royals is Robbie Tour. For the reigning champs, Langara College, and their coach Mark Rizzardo. In goal, Zion Clark Ismail, if you will. Number 2, Kobe Monty. Number 4, Zion Adlam. Number 6, Hikaru Umura. Number 7, midfielder of the year last year, Kazuki Nakanishi. Number 9, back from injury, or I beg your pardon, number 8, back from injury, Tainer Bajgare. Number 9, the talismanic off-season pickup, the Somalian. Number 9, Mazla Farah. Number 13, Dante Talarico, who had the lone goal in this matchup a couple weeks ago. Elsewhere, number 18, Tyler McCall starting. Number 19, the return of Taigo Shamada after a few weeks off. And number 23, boasting Athlete of the Week honors following his brace last week against VIU. One of my favorite players to watch, David Rodriguez Zagara. Mark Rizzardo, the head coach for the Langara Falcons. We're now underway here. Langara going in head-to-toe all white. Shirt, shorts, and socks with a little bit of black and orange piping, trimming, and lettering. They're playing from right to left on your video stream here today. And the Douglas Royals are in their usual royal green kit with a little bit of forest green trim, some white and silver piping and lettering as well. They're playing from left to right on your stream. Their keeper in taxi cab yellow, Zion Clark Ismail in the bright highlighter green to the right here. Just under 2 minutes in, we're still 0-0. We don't... Ball into the feet of the number 10, Spencer Mellett. This looks promising. I think it's Shackleton cruising forward, and they've got themselves in a favorable area. Flag goes up. It will be offside. One of the personnel changes for Robbie Tour's Douglas squad that I'm sure will jump off the page, especially if you're a keen follower of these Douglas Royals, is the omission of number 7, Matteo Falcone, who's probably alongside Nakanishi and David Rodriguez Zagara and Sebastian Sirotto, one of my favorite midfielders to watch here in the PACWEST men's. I got a chance to talk with Coach Robbie Tour just before this one when I saw the starting lineup and saw that Matteo Falcone was a scratch, and I just asked Coach, this is one of your better players. What's the thought process? Is it tactical? Are we dealing with an injury here? And Robbie gave me the old 2-word answer: load management. So they're obviously managing the minutes of Matteo Falcone, who would play a full 90 if you let him. And I'm pretty sure he's featured in every single minute of every single Douglas Royals men's matchup I've called here at the Langley Event Center. So a rare rest for Matteo Falcone. Load management, says Coach Robbie Tour and assistant Faravar Tarabi. We're now in the 3rd minute, still 0-0, waiting for our first chance here in a rematch of last year's final. And of course, it was a final for the ages. Langara looked like they had it all buttoned up, 2-0. Douglas were down to 10 men. But in the last 10 minutes, Douglas came storming back and equalized. And if it wasn't for the cruel drama lottery that is penalty kicks, Douglas might have gone ahead and claimed back-to-back championships, but it was Langara who were the luckier two of the squads, and they came away with the PACWEST championship. And unfortunately at at Nationals, could only come away with a semi-final performance. Bajgare. Right-footed rip by Bajgare. That's charged down by the number 3, Quinto. The ball flies up in the air. It'll be a corner kick. Corner kick, right-footed in-swinger. Ooh, this one stood right up to the back post. Zion Adlam would have had to groan 2 or 3 feet to reach that one. Free kick the way of Langara here. We're in the 6th minute, still 0-0. I'm just trying to see the number of the player standing over this one. It might be Talarico. No, Talarico's in the area. Here comes Shimada now. Great step over. Left-footed shot by Shimada! Sends him one way, sends him the other, and smashes home a left-footed blast in the 6th minute. And Taigo Shimada back in the lineup and back on the score sheet, the number 19 in orange. And I'm not sure if there was a sea of bodies in the way there. It looked like the keeper might have had that one, Matthew Miller, but it just kind of knuckled in at the near post. That's a bit of a risky ball in there. Bajgare really makes Matthew Miller sort himself out. Quinto into the path of Johnston. And Kobe Monty playing that aggressive low center of gravity dribbling style he always played. Tainer Bajgare looked like he gave the old inside and out to his man. Went for a bit of a swallow dive, but the referee wasn't having it. And Tainer Bajgare has kind of lost himself in the corner there. He thought he was supposed to get a foul on the first one, protested the second, then laid off it. The ref didn't go for either. Now here comes David Rodriguez-Zagara. He plays in a low hard cross. That one's kneed away by Yoshida. And all of his teammates giving a bit of a tongue lashing to Bajgare there, saying him to play the whistle, play the ball, and Tainer kind of got lost in the dark arts ever so slightly. Be a right-footed in-swinger by Omura. I believe it's Omura. Stands up to the back post. Talarico gets a head on it, and it's cleared off the line. Great chance. Shackleton. You just wonder what the omission of Falcone has done just for the rhythm of this Douglas squad. They just look a slight bit off of it pace-wise. McCall, who's been just a really good pivot and kind of robust midfield player for the Falcons. A little bit of grit. Monty now, right-footed shot. Took a hop up off the 6-yard box, and Matthew Miller had to be very tidy with his save there as Maz Lafara was right in his kitchen waiting to tap home a rebound. And, of course, Maz Lafara needs no invitation to have a crack on net, let alone a juicy rebound. Ping ball from, I believe that was Omura. Had a little bit too much zip on it though, and it got away from Kobe Monty. McCall. Samadine tried to play the through ball for Francois. Of course, it was Keishan Francois who got sent off in last year's final for a nasty tackle. I forget who the tackle was on, but it was a beefy challenge to say the least. He did get sent off, but it actually ended up spurring his teammates onto an equalizer, so I think it was Shimada kind of just threw a leg out there, and it clipped the shins of Ryo Yoshida, the man from Terry Fox Secondary in Coquitlam, and it'll be a free kick for the men in green. It's a good cross as well, right into the top of the area. It's helped on by Samadine. Francois is going to keep it alive at the near left touch line. He's got to get past Talarico. He does. Good cross. Samadine's in there. He threw himself at it, but Nakanishi headed it clear. Bushgare. Oh, Bushgare. All over the back of his player. And Bushgare now he's got to watch himself here. He's looks like he's been shot out of a cannon to start this game, and he was clearly the man infringing there, and then he gives the guy an earful, and now he's going to hear it from the referee. So Bushgare's been on the sidelines with some injury, but it looks like somebody's put a little bit of pepper in his pregame soup. He's spicy, to say the least. Good play there by Nakanishi to body his man off the ball, and Rodriguez Zagar with a roulette to keep it going. Thought about the long ball for Maz Lafara, did Tainer Bushgare. He gets past one. Bushgare, can he get past two? He can't. 12th minute, 1-0 Langara. Taigo Shimada in the 6th minute has the goal. Good ball win. Bushgare now in the box. Can Bushgare finish? He tries to chip it over the keeper, but the keeper made his chest big. And Mark Rizzardo bellowing to his striker. He's got to be better in that scenario. I think what the doctor ordered there was just a blast right on net, or maybe he opens up the body and tries to pick out that far corner, but he tried to get a bit too cheeky and scoop it over the keeper. This is a good play from Douglas in the area now. I want to say it's Jack Spencer who made his way into the box. He did. He gets thumped over, but it was a clean tackle. Is it Kobe Monty down there? No, Kobe Monty is at the near touchline. I believe it's Omura who actually is holding his right knee, and that might force Mark Rizzardo into an early substitution as one of his stalwart backline is down on the ground clutching his leg. We still have Omura down. Of course, there is one match on the out-of-town scoreboard today. Bottom of the table, VIU visiting second spot. I beg your pardon, hosting second spot, Capilano. Cap on 7 points, VIU on 1 point. VIU is looking for their first victory of the season, though, and what a time to get it. They desperately need to get themselves back in that playoff hunt. Omura's back up now. It's a low, hard, left-footed cross in swinging. That's taken care of by, I believe that was Talarico. Kobe Monty's the furthest forward now, and he's seen his defender step on the ball. He just can't get it other side of him. It was Spencer Millette there. Beg your pardon, it was actually Gavin Johnston who stepped on the ball but recovered nicely. Ball crossed into the area. Nakanishi hooks it away as Samadine was breathing down his neck. Frozen rope of a play right into the middle of the park, and it unfortunately gets away from Tainer Bushgare. 15 minutes in, 1-0. Taigo Shimada with the goal. Kajgara in for Farah. Rodriguez-Zagara in the mix as well. They work a quick triangle play. Rodriguez-Zagara is going to get it back now. Can he uncork a shot? He can, but it's just wide of the far left-hand post. He was kind of leaning away from it and kind of had to smack at it, David Rodriguez-Zagara, but he's got such a powerful left foot that it still burnt a few worms on the way, cut a few daisies on the way to the net, but goes wide in the end. 15 minutes gone, 1-0 for Langara. Langara enjoying the run of the play here so far. This is very similar to how their early encounter in the season looked. Talarico, I think, just got a stray elbow or a forearm up there, and he clocked Samadine right in the temple. Samadine went into the red card book. Last time these two played, 2 yellows. He bumped into a couple of defenders and got sent off. And unfortunately, his club just couldn't claw their way back into it. But Samadine, who's a big lad, he got Athlete of the Week honors in Week 1 for the men's soccer division after some good performances against VIU, but he's been down for a couple minutes now, and I'd be surprised if they didn't go through some concussion protocol. Meanwhile, off to our left, Matthew Miller is down in the Douglas net. Maybe he got barged over on that last play as well, so a couple Douglas bodies on the deck, and that'll give the opportunity here in the 17th minute for both squads to get a little bit of water and a little bit of a rest. It looks like we're just about ready to go here. Samadine will have to make his way off the park here and be readmitted. He's a tough lad, though, and he's a big lad. One of the bigger guys on the park, Samadine, that's for sure. 6'4", all the way from Ghana. It'll be Millette, I believe, to stand over this free kick. It will. Spencer Millette into the feet of Francois. Shackleton. Good play to his left for Capek, who is one of the few. Ooh, that's a good play into the feet of Samadine. He couldn't roll his man, but it falls to Spencer. Spencer couldn't get through a sea of white shirts, and the flag eventually does go up. One of the things I like about Philip Capek games is he does the old school kind of pump kick, scissor kick clearance. It looks very acrobatic, almost ninja-esque. I've seen him do it a few times in the encounters between Douglas and Langara, and it's always one of those spectacles I enjoy seeing. Offside flag up. It'll be a goal kick for Clark Ismail. Another coming together there, this time Samadine and Talarico, so tit for tat, eye for an eye. 19th minute still, 1-0 Langara. Shimada has the goal for the men in white. Omura, who, good to see him up and back at it again after he got clattered into in the penalty box probably about 5 minutes ago. McCall, under pressure, plays it to Shimada. Ooh, this is a very potent press right now from Douglas, but good play by Langara to kind of work the way around it. Long diagonal ball looking for Kobe Monty. He puts a lot of pressure on Gavin Johnston, and it's a side-footed clearance and a deep throw in the way of Langara. The other matchup, VIU and Capilano kicks off in just about 10 minutes' time. Earlier results from the women's side of things. Douglas and Langara women drawing 1-1, while VIU laid another hurting on Capilano, 4-0 at last glance. VIU women top of the table. Capilano rooted to the foot, and Langara and Douglas second and third, respectively, with their draw. A win here for Langara would be massive. They would put them up to 12 points, 5 points clear of Capilano, who are playing a very plucky VIU squad who, yes, they are still searching for their first victory of the season, but with 1 draw and 3 losses, yes, that doesn't look great on paper, but they've all been close and they've all been plucky kind of games from the VIU Mariners. And their 1 point was a hard work point. They came from 2-0 down to tie with Capilano in Capilano. Capek pokes it forward for Spencer's, just a dash ahead of the number 9, but he does pretty good to almost keep it alive. Langara, though, they do so well in swarming in numbers. Shimada gives it to Farah. Infield for Tyler McCall. Good play there by McCall. Just gets away from one, gets away from Francois. First time kind of just linked ball, attempting to link up anyways, from Kobe Monti to Bajgare. Just screws away from the number 8, and Douglas will have another chance to play their way out of the back. Francois, he's bodied off the ball cleanly there by Omura. It was a stiff challenge by Omura, but it was a 50-50 shoulder charge. I think I have to agree with the referee there. It looked fairly fair. 2 big lads coming together, and unfortunately for Francois, it was Omura who kind of just rocked the shoulder a little bit harder. We're in the 22nd minute. It's still 1-0 off a Taigo Shimada opener. Bajgare tries to help it on for Farah, finds the path of Shimada, cuts it back to the top of the box for Monty, who has a first-time right-footed lash. And my goodness, that actually hopped 2 sets of fences. I think that's down into the water park section over there by the Vancouver Bandits basketball team stadium. Monty was the closest to Gavin Johnston on that aerial joust, but Johnston, unchallenged, heads it out into touch. 23rd minute, still 1-0 Langara. Zion Adlam, under a little bit of pressure from Spencer, just blasts it out into touch on the right-hand side, throw in the way of Douglas. Rodriguez Zagara takes it and plays it quickly. Off to his left for Bajgare. Good ball there for Kobe Monti, who's surging forward. Ball across first time, cut out by Capek. Beg your pardon, Quinto was the one who side-footed that away. And it'll be a near left side corner kick, right-footed in-swinger from Kobe Monti. It's going to be Omura with this one, who he stood up to the back post every single time, and he's going to do it again, right to the back post! A heap of bodies. Adlam takes a swing at it. It's cleared off the line. Adlam was there, and so was Nakanishi. It was a heap of bodies. Adlam came the closest. Good turn by Talarico. He rides one challenge, rides the second. Can he get it to Adlam? Adlam, can he keep it in? He can't, unfortunately. The number 4 busted a lung there, and he's a stridey runner is Adlam. It looked like he might just extend that right foot, Stretch Armstrong style, and wrap it around the ball, but unfortunately, he couldn't defy biology and physics, young Adlam. He's talented, but he's not that talented. '26 minutes, still 1-0 Langara. The better of the chances so far have gone the way of the Falcons. Douglas haven't had a lot in and around the Langara box to speak of so far. The closest they came was a corner kick probably about 10 minutes ago. This is a good play from Francois, though. He opens up on the left foot. It's a worm burner, a teaser as well. Samadine was there just in case there was any rebound from Clark Ismail, but the number 1 in the sticks for Langara hit that pretty sweetly, or saved that pretty sweetly, I should say. And there was no rebound for Samadine. A long frozen rope via diagonal moments ago from Talarico looking to find Maslafara was picked off by Capek. Francois. Leo on. Yoshida. Oh, this is a good cross. Can Samadine get there? Calm keeping there by Clark Ismail, as Samadine looked like he had just gotten inside Omura there on that chance. Athlete of the week, David Rodriguez-Zagara. Multiple goals to his tally, including a brace last week, one from open play, an equalizer, and one from the penalty spot, which turned out to be the game winner against VIU. '28th minute, 1-0 for the men in white. The Langara Falcons, the reigning champs. McCall. Bit of a hospital ball there for David Rodriguez-Zagara, but those are type of the balls that kind of Rodriguez-Zagara feeds off of. Dispossessed there, on, and Rodriguez-Zagara, but on does ever so well to almost upset the apple cart in the Langara Falcons end. Kobe Monty now trying to get inside Gavin Johnston. He can't. That's a healthy duel, though, as Kobe Monty was kind of just clawing and tearing at his right back opposition, Johnston. The referee says a foul, and we'll bring it all the way back to the 18-yard line. 29th minute, 1-0 Langara. Maslafara tried a kind of no-look cutback ball, but there was just a sea of green legs there, and he couldn't get it through. There's a good play. Leo on. This is promising. It's 5-on-3. If Douglas can suss out their numbers here, this could be a real chance. Francois in, onside 2. Francois cuts back to his left foot. Charged down by Omura. Francois just couldn't get the ball out of his feet there. He had acres of space and acres of time, but it was clumsy. Now Maslafara is onside. Maslafara tries to slide it under the keeper, and it's a great save by Matthew Miller. Oh, Farah could have probably gone around the keeper if he wanted there. Everybody was screaming for the offside flag, but it seemed like Maslafara and the linesman were the only two who knew it was onside. Well, that and Matthew Miller, because he made the outstanding save. It should be 2-0, let's be honest here. Should be 1-1. Francois had some chances at the other end too, so it's opening up here between last year's finalists in the PACWEST. We're in the 30th minute, 1-0 Langara, and we have Jack Spencer down on the far side. Clark Ismail with the clearance. Mazlafara just jockeying for position there with Yoshida. Taynar Bajgari, you know what? There might have been hints of a foul there. It looked like Leo An was a little bit clear, and Bajgari kind of came in from the backside. Bajgari, right-footed, he gets underneath it. He tiptoed into a delicate little area at the top of the 18-yard box, just inside the penalty arc. And he tried to scoop it in that top corner. He just got way too far underneath it, and it ends up flying out into touch. We're in the 31st minute. It's 1-0 Langara. Mazlafara, a little bit of a seal dribble to keep himself alive in the area there. It's eventually bite kicked away by who else? Philip Kapek. Love his clearances. Love his clearances. Just reminds me of the old center backs, those tall, no-nonsense center backs that you used to see in the 80s and 90s, who it didn't matter how they got the ball out. They were getting they didn't care if they tucked it under their shirt and ran it up the field. They were getting the ball out. That's what I like about Philip Kapek. He's got that never say die, don't take no for an answer approach to defending, and that's just what you need in that line of work. Long floated ball in the right channel for Francois. That one's headed straight up in the air by Talarico and collected by Johnston. Oh, that's a clever play and a little bit of a break, too, for Leo An as it took a deflection back into the path of Mellet. He's looking for a left-footed shot. He gets it. It's charged down by Omura. And then thumped clear by the number 6 from Japan. Good little play there from Leo An and Francois and Spencer. They're looking lively here today for the Douglas Royals, but I'm going to go back to my point that I made earlier before the broadcast. You just wonder how this Douglas squad would be ticking if they had their silky midfielder in there. Number 7, Matteo Falcone, who's been left out of this one for load management by Coach Robbie Tour. You just wonder what that little bit of that Italian flair would do for the Douglas midfield, because at the moment, Langara, outside of a few spells of play, seem to be enjoying their football just a dash more than the men in green. After a few weeks off, gets the goal. That's clever in for Bajgari! Oh, he gets wiped out. And, you know, it's an interesting call here because while Matthew Miller did get the ball and win it cleanly, he didn't really foul Bajgari. And yes, Bajgari was down in some discomfort, but the referee, I suppose, didn't really need to blow his whistle. And that subsequent play might have actually ended up as a goal. However, I'm going to instantly retract that statement because it looks like Bajgari is in some kind of discomfort. He did get smoked from behind and then had the keeper land on him, which I can imagine probably knocked the wind out of both guys. So referee erring on the side of caution and player safety and blowing the play dead. But I'm sure 15 seconds ago or so, there were a couple Langara players who would have wished play was whistled on because that subsequent shot that came in was in the back of the net. Perhaps Matthew Miller had just been dragged out far enough out of the net at that point that the referee said, you know what, the keeper's been compromised, so we're going to blow it down. So good play by the referee there. Sometimes it isn't all about goals and spectacle and flair. Sometimes you got to err on the side of caution and make sure the lads on the park are good to go. That'll give both squads an opportunity here to kind of get their breath. It's been a pacey opening 45 minutes. It also gives us a chance to quickly look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Capilano and VIU. And it looks like they've just gotten underway. It is scoreless in the 6th minute. VIU hosting Capilano. And Tainer Bishgare, who I don't want to say the lad is injury prone, but there were some times last season where he was coming on kind of duct taped together red-green style. They put a little bit of Bondo on him and sent him out there. And of course he started on the bench, the physio bench even, for a couple matches to begin this campaign. So the last thing you want to do is see a player with the talent and the flair and the desire of a Tainer Bishgare go right back onto the physio table after having just gotten back in the lineup. But he plays a very involved style of football, let's say, and I think it was evident in that first 10 minutes when he was lobbying for calls. He was in the mix. He was talking to the ref. He had a chance just a little bit ago where he lifted over the net, and that time he probably thought he had a great opportunity, had a headed chance, and he got absolutely pile-driven from behind by the keeper, Matthew Miller. So you hope that the number 8, the Iranian Tainer Bishgare, is good to go here, and it looks like he'll be eligible to come right back into this one shortly. Yeah, that did not look good, though. He had the keeper land pretty much full weight on his back, and I don't care who you are. That'll leave you seeing stars and Tweety birds after a while. 37th minute. Beg your pardon, the clock has stopped at 36 again. A real chance there, punched away by Clark Ismail. It'll be a goal kick. Langara are doing just enough to bend and not break. That was the first kind of real half chance of the match for Douglas. Clark Ismail was tall to it. You know, this Langara defense, they have to be very wary of the Samadine threat because he's so big, and I think in a tight spot in the area, he can probably roll a defender and have his way. He's 6'4", so if he gets his head onto something, it's probably going into the back of the net. He's just one of those players that seems to be a constant threat. Even if he goes to sleep or seems isolated for patches of the game, if they can get a good bit of service into this big lad, number 20, Samadine, Douglas can be right back in the thick of things. 1-0 for Langara. We're in the 37th minute. Nakanishi goes for a back heel, and he kind of gives himself a little slap there. He thought he'd pulled it off, but just a lick of boot leather the other way. And Nakanishi's smile would have been one of joy as opposed to a little bit of a wry discontentment. Spencer, good back heel there by Francois, who for my money has probably been the best player on the park offensively anyways for Douglas. Got himself into a really good opportunity probably about 15 minutes ago, and he just couldn't get the ball out of his feet at the near post. So tip of the cap for the number 11, Francois. Jack Spencer's been involved too. You want to see a bit more from Samadine. Like I said, if anyone who's listens to my broadcast know, I love me a big, tall, brawny striker. It's kind of a thankless, forgotten position in today's modern football, thanks to Pep Guardiola and Barcelona's use of false nines and whatnot. That's kind of morphed the way people have approached football in a front line. Coming together of a bunch of bodies there. Spencer looked like he had won the foul, but then Shimada took a whack from Shackleton. And the referee points the way of the Falcons. We're in the 39th minute, 1-0 Langara. Omura rolls it all the way back to Clark Ismail. Langara managed the ball so well. It hasn't been for lack of effort from Douglas here today, it has to be said, but Langara bopped the ball around so nicely. Miles Lafara has a ball lifted into his path in the right channel. He just couldn't get ahead of Quinto, though, and it's an easy bit of business for the goalkeeper. We're in the 40th minute, 1-0 Langara. Shackleton, 10-yarder on the deck, picked off by Shimada, but he can only play it right to Millette. Francois now. Good return for Millette. Omura was coming across the width of the area and did ever so well to dispossess Millette. Monty now wants to put down his head and dribble at every opportunity, does Monty. This time it's gotten away from him, though. On Through ball for Francois. Can he get there? Francois is going to get there. He's offside, though. And I didn't think he was, to be honest with you. He hangs his head in disapproval, does Francois. He's been one of the bright spots in that right channel so far for the men in green. They need to get him more involved and get him linking up with the likes of Samadine. On's been good today as well. Mellette, too. They've been involved. That front five, Spencer, Mellette, On, Francois, and Samadine. Clark Ismail, aerial ball in the left channel, a straight vertical one as well. The diminutive Colby Monty looked like he was on a bouncy castle there getting up against Gavin Johnston, but almost won the header. Does win the throw-in. Bajgare. High boot a bit there by Bajgare. Francois. Ooh, tried to work a 1-2 with Gavin Johnston, but Francois wanted to get right up the park, and Johnston was looking for a short option. Talarico with Nakanishi. Good play there by Shimada. Beg your pardon, it's Omura. Now he's been caught out of position. Good cover, though, by Talarico. The danger is not over, though. Adlam will lift one into the opposition end. Comes off the back of Johnston's head. We're in the 42nd minute. 1-0 Langara Falcons. Taigo Shimada with the goal. Rodriguez Zagara, who's been a little bit quiet today by his standards, but again, one of those players who can just spring to life when you need him most. He had a left-footed effort earlier in the contest. It kind of scraped wide, but you know, from distance or in tight, Rodriguez Zagara is usually money, as the kids say. Always available too, though. He shows in all the spaces. Shimada gets past one, gets past two, still dancing. Shimada still got it. Shimada looked like he had it on a string there, did the number 19. Adlam. And Langara just playing around the fringes ever so slightly. Only Maz Lafara was the one in the 18-yard box, or on the 18-yard line, kind of flirting with some offensive service. Kobe Monty was at the back post as well, but Shimada and McCall there, and Rodriguez Zagara, just couldn't break down that wall around the Douglas area. 43rd minute, 1-0 for the men in white. The Langara Falcons. We'll take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard here as well. VIU in action with Capilano. Good 1-2 there by McCall and Rodriguez Zagara. McCall thought about smashing one in there. Bajgare now, right channel. Low and hard across the area, cut out by Yoshida. McCall, good tackle there by Shackleton, who just got the big toe on it and poked it away from McCall before he could try and open up some space for his teammates. Francois over the top for Samadine. Looks offside, it is. And it's a good thing it was, because I think he had finally gotten position on Omura there. Out-of-town scoreboard, 14th minute. Make that 15th minute. VIU and Capilano still scoreless. Backhill attempt by Bajgare. Doesn't find Farah, who has become kind of isolated. Farah, he's losing a big size mismatch to Philip Kapik and Shackleton there. And the ball's over the top or around the back on the deck, trying to get position on those forwards have not borne a lot of fruit for Maz Lafara. But again, much like David Rodriguez Zagara, just one of those players who can just spring to life when you need him most. Kobe Monty's on the dribble now. Just got a bit too far ahead of it, but manages to keep it. Monty now with Johnston. Monty gets to the inside of Johnson. Still going, Monty. Outside the box, right-footed shot, charged down by Johnson. Good play by the number 17 there to stick with it the whole way. He didn't just let Monty go there. Unfortunately, Matthew Miller, the keeper, can't salvage the ball, and it will be a corner kick from that far right-hand side in front of the Cafe Artigiano advertisement. There were some scooter kids over there, too, getting in some free soccer. Got to watch out for those scooter kids. They travel in packs, you know. And Langara taking their sweet time to get over for this one. It's Omura, who has taken every single corner today, and he stood every single one up to the back post. Let's see if he goes for lucky number 5 here. It's the 45th minute, and Omura went down once. Samadine went down once. Probably maybe about a good 3 minutes of added time, I would anticipate. We'll see what happens, though. I run off a sundial. It's a little bit old school, so I don't get the time thing exactly right. Omura now right-footed outswinger, which will be a bit different from his left portion. McCall was the closest to it at the near post. Adlam was almost there. Rodriguez Zagara picks up the scraps outside the 18-yard box. Nakanishi right back where it came from to Omura. Good play there by Nakanishi. Bajgare shows short. They tried to work a 1-2, but Bajgare just plays his pass right up against the shins of the Douglas defender. Filip Kapek can only win his header straight up in the air. David Rodriguez Zagara with a left-footed blast, and that is just the guy you want hitting it on a half volley. Left-footed is David Rodriguez Zagara. The technique was sweet as you like, but unfortunately he's probably about a meter wide of the left post. Good effort there from the athlete of the week, the Peruvian Rodriguez Zagara. Quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. A score that does some favors for the Falcons. VIU currently up 1-0 on Capilano. Kobe Monte's offside here. That's unfortunate. He didn't need to be either. The referee might actually bring this one back on an advantage. Or from the advantage, I should say. Out-of-town scoreboard, VIU up on Cap 1-0. That one in the 17th minute. If that were to hold, VIU bumps up to 4 points. Cap stays on 7, Douglas on 6, and Langara would go up to 12. So that would be just what the doctor ordered for Langara. Once again, we still have lots of football to play here, especially in that other affair, but positive signs if you're a Langara Falcons fan and hoping to get that buy into the finals of the PACWEST again and possibly a repeat championship. And the way Langara's been going this season, it looks like it's there for them. They've been playing some excellent football. Omura, free kick, long diagonal on the laces, Talarico. Once again, a quote I like to use, he would have had to have grown 2 or 3 feet in the span of 2 seconds there to get on the end of that one, but kudos to the number 13 who was on the score sheet last time these two played. He just couldn't get inside on Quinto, and it ends up being a free kick. Kapek, left-footed, swerving, raking cross, finds Francois. He has the overlapping run of, not overlapping, but behind run of Leo An. Ooh, Kobe Monte with a bit of a high boot there. He wins the ball, though. Good play by Bajgare. Tees up Rodriguez Zagara. He went for a right-footed shot. And he got it off eventually, but you can tell that's his least favorite, preferred of the 2 feet. He kind of just, you could see the cogs kind of turning in his mind there. He was just trying to suss out the physics on how he was going to blast that one into the net. Unfortunately, just mistimed it or mishit it ever so slightly, Rodriguez Zagara. And it sclaffs off into the TELUS advertising boards and the Hellman's mayonnaise, because who doesn't like a bunch of mayonnaise on a hot, sunny Langley day? Ian Adlam gets a stray whack there. It was Samadine, he's a very handsy, elbowy kind of forward, isn't he? He got sent off last time against Langara, and it was just for kind of that million miles an hour bull in a china shop style of play that he has. It's a real brute to have to play against, but if you can't avoid taking those kind of fouls, you might find yourself in the referee's pocketbook sooner rather than later, which lo and behold is what happened to poor Samadine last time around. He went from Athlete of the Week honors to missing the next match. But I would rather have a striker play with that kind of, like you said, bull in a china shop, never say die attitude and just battering ram his way into the penalty box than a striker who might try and shrink away from the tackles or not get into those naughty areas. Douglas now, 45th minute. We're into stoppage time. I can't imagine a ton, probably 2 or 3 minutes. Rodriguez Zagara has Kobe Monte on the overlap. Instead, he's going to go up the opposite side for Zion Adlam. What a well-weighted ball there from Rodriguez Zagara. Adlam takes it in his stride. Right-footed cross. It's a delicious one, too. But unfortunately, Bajgare hadn't got into the 6-yard box, and it's an easy take from Matthew Miller. And that will be the full-time whistle from the referee's lips. It's been a close encounter, but Langara probably having the better run of play so far in this opening 45 minutes. 1-0 is the scoreline heading into the halftime locker room. Taigo Shimada with the goal in the 6th minute. Some half chances for Douglas, but nothing really to write home about. Plenty to play for in the second half between the first spot Langara and third spot Douglas. Last look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Bottom of the table, VIU leading Capilano 1-0 around the 20th minute mark. We'll take a very short 15-minute halftime break, and we'll be back with the second half of this second match of our PACWEST doubleheader live from the LEC Willoughby Park in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. Welcome back to the LEC, site of another PACWEST soccer doubleheader between Langara and the visiting Douglas Royals. The women's result in the books, a 1-1 draw. And we'll let you know what that does for the standings when we have a quick second here. And we're into the men's affair now. Second half now underway. Langara leading 1-0 on the strength of a 6th-minute Taigo Shimada goal. One other game in the PACWEST today. That's the men's encounter between VIU and Capilano on the island. Right now, VIU leading 1-0 in the 37th minute, which, if both results were to stand in the men's section, would do a lot of favors for the Langara Falcons. The Falcons making one substitution at halftime. They've brought on number 16, Owen Holscher. And it looks like a couple substitutions as well for the Douglas Royals. Suchitani has come on, as is number 18, Haji Mohammadi. Suchitani is number 23. Langara wearing all white. They're playing from left to right on your stream. They've got a little bit of black and orange piping, trim, and lettering as well, do the Falcons. The Douglas Royals, meanwhile, in their classic royal green kits with a little bit of forest green is in there as well. Silver and white piping, trimming, and lettering. They're playing from right to left on your video stream. And we're now underway. The first half was not dominated by Langara, but they certainly had a little bit more of the run of play. No real gilt edge chances for Douglas to speak of. Their most prominent player forward anyways was Kishon Francois. Langara, outside of the one goal from Shimada, had a few half-hearted rips on net by Bajgare as well as David Rodriguez Zagara, both from outside the 18-yard box, and neither troubled the keeper, Matthew Miller. So only one real chance to speak of in this matchup, and it more or less ended up in the back of the net from Taigo Shimada. We're into the 47th minute, 1-0 Langara. Douglas College have also brought on number 21 as a left back, Andrew Sardoki from Surrey. Matthew Miller will play out to his left now. Sardoki on the ball, gets his first touch. Has to get around Shimada. He does so. Actually, another swap as well, so no less than 4 changes for Douglas. They've also brought the very tall, maybe he just looks tall. Maybe it's just I'm very small. Number 19, Andrew Kerr. 5'11" from Delta, Sands Secondary. Yeah, when I saw him down at pitch level, I was like, my goodness, that's a tall lad, but I think it's just because I'm growing a hunch and shrinking by the second here. Suchitani played in his man there, who took up a bit of a walloping from Tyler McCall. It was Leo An who got crunched there, and McCall, the Delta native, he's from Siakwam Secondary, so perhaps he found out that young Kerr was part of Sands. That Delta rivalry creeped in. He commits the foul, and it'll be a free kick for Haji Mohammadi, pretty much on the halfway line, but all the Douglas players, including all the big boys, Shackleton and Capek, queuing up at the back post. Ball headed straight up into the air, but not clear. Tyler Bernabe, another substitution. So Robbie Tour actually made 5 substitutions. That's half a team. We'll see what it does here for the Greens if it messes up any of their flow. Speaking of flow, Mateo Falcone was down at pitch level at halftime. He was a scratch for this one, their stalwart midfielder. And he was just giving some of his fellow teammates some instructions. He was looking really cool in a pair of Ray-Bans and head-to-toe black trainers. If it doesn't work out for Falcone as a player, he might have a future as a coach or perhaps an administrator at a soccer level, because he certainly looked the part down there from pitch level. Bajgare, that ball looked like it had gone out, but linesman was right there and says play on. Unfortunately, he could only swerve it into the path of Owen Holscher, who was boxed out by Quinto and Capek in the end. 50th minute, still 1-0 Langara. On the out-of-town scoreboard, still 1-0 for VIU, that one in the 41st minute. In the women's encounter earlier today, the Langara women drew with Douglas 1-1. While VIU beat up on Capilano, that means VIU undefeated, 5 wins, no losses, top of the table on 15 points, Langara on 10. Douglas will sit on 4, and Capilano all the way down rock bottom at 0 in the women's division. So things went from bad to worse for Capilano this afternoon. Langara and Douglas more or less kept up the status quo, but VIU, who are head and shoulders above everyone else in the women's division, just continued their roll towards a potential bye and maybe even a second straight PACWEST title after they hoisted it last year. This looks promising from Douglas. Ball forward into the path of Kerr. Can he settle it down? He can't. Omura came in like a flash just to take it off his foot, as Kerr had let the ball just get away from him ever so slightly. Right-footed shot from Haji Mohammadi. That one was almost always rising. I think he might have actually hurt himself there on that shot, unless he got charged down by, I think it was Talarico. He hit that one pretty hard, Haji Mohammadi. I don't think there was a late tackle there from Dante, the number 13 at the Langara left back spot, but Haji Mohammadi picks himself up, slightly hobbled, albeit, and makes his paces back to midfield. 52nd minute, it's still 1-0 for Langara. Tyler McCall just waiting for the C to part there so he could get it to Adlam. Adlam left that one fashionably late to get it to Shimada. He put him in a bit of a spot. Now Nakanishi's gotten the ball away from Leo On. Clips it over the top, on rushing Kobe Monte. The flag has gone up though. He looked like he was onside, and it was actually a really good ball winning diagonal ping ball from Nakanishi. And Douglas will play it quickly, first time, and they'll attempt to work it out from the back. Matthew Miller lifts it over Bajgare into the path of Sardoki. And Douglas are just having a tough time stringing together passes at the moment. They might need to be a bit more pragmatic and a bit more direct. They do have some pacey players over here. Of course, Samadine, their number 20 forward, who started the match and probably would have wanted to get a few more chances on net by his and Robbie Tour coach's high standards, but he was just well defended by the Langara players, who were almost doubling up on him at times. So Robbie Tour is going for a bit of a new look front line here. He's actually playing Shackleton more up top. Shackleton was a central defender and has been ever since I've been calling Douglas Royals games against Langara, but perhaps Robbie Tour heard what I was saying earlier. I love me a big, tall, brawny forward, and the number 6 Shackleton, he fits that build. 6'3" from Port Moody, and he looks like he'd be a real handful to have to defend. And unfortunately for Hikaru Umura, that's what he'll have to do for the next 40 minutes or so. We're into the 53rd minute. Langara still have a 1-0 lead. Heck of a throw in there from Talarico, helped on by Bajgare. Unfortunately, his flick on came right up against the defender who was backing him, and Douglas have won the ball back. This looks promising if they can get the ball to Kerr here, and they have. He's just over the shoulder of Adlam, takes a touch, but his touch was a dash too heavy, and Adlam just calmly plays the ball forward for, I believe that's Owen Holscher on the trot. He pokes it forward for Rodriguez Zagara, who's advanced his run. Rodriguez Zagara is going to take on Quinto. He's in the box now. Zagara cuts back to his left foot. Is he dragged back from behind? The referee says penalty. Ooh, and I'd love to see a replay of that one. It looked like Rodriguez Zagara was maybe just losing his footing ever so slightly. From this angle, it looked more like a slip, but the referee was right there, and all the Douglas players are having a word with the linesman there, who was Johnny on the spot. Honestly, to me, that looked like a 50-50 tackle, maybe just a coming together where Rodriguez Zagara was just slightly behind the ball, and maybe he got slew-footed. I didn't see it. I'd love to see a replay of that one. My initial impression was that it's a dash harsh on the Douglas Royals, it has to be said. It'll probably be Rodriguez Zagara to step up. He is the penalty kick taker, but he did miss a penalty last year in the finals against Douglas. He's been money from the spot this year. We'll see if he can break his Douglas hex ever so slightly. David Rodriguez Zagara. You know he's going to size up left-footed with his trademark southpaw approach. Oh, he's actually coming at this one right-footed. What do I know? What do I know? He's got such a mixed bag, Rodriguez Zagara. It's a different look every time you see him. Matthew Miller trying to make himself tall in his net. Rodriguez Segarra goes right up the middle, just like he did last week against VIU. He went high last time. He goes low this time. Matthew Miller guessed to his right. And Rodriguez Segarra, cool as you like from the spot in the 56th minute, doubles Langara's pleasure. It's 2-0 over the Royals. And Robbie Tour is going to get himself a bit of a talking to here from the referee. He was calling the referees for having gotten most of their calls wrong, and he threw a couple extra four-letter words in there as well. And the referee will come over and brandish the yellow card. You know, I'd have to see a look at that replay of that penalty call, because for me it looked a dash light. It looked a dash light. Granted, I'm atop the stadium here and I don't have the angles that the linesman or the official do at field level, but I don't know if it was Kapek or Haji Mohammadi who was adjudged to have fouled Rodriguez there. It might have even been Sardoki at the left back position. Once again, I don't have the benefit of replay, but it's definitely a talking point, isn't it? It's definitely a talking point. And thankfully for Mark Rosardo, he's usually the more lively of the two coaches when it comes to jousting with the officials verbally. He can take a back seat and chill out, because I think Robbie Tour has taken the conch for this one. He is none too pleased with some of the decisions the referee has handed out today. '57th minute, 2-0 Langara. Shimada in the first half, followed by a controversial, shall we say, Rodriguez Segarra penalty in the second half. Nothing controversial about the way Rodriguez Segarra took the penalty, but it was controversial on how it was awarded and if it was a penalty, was there enough contact there? Definitely one of the talking points, depending on the result of this one. It definitely makes Douglas's uphill climb that much more steep, let's say that. 5 subs at halftime. Robbie Tour definitely injected some energy into his squad, but at the moment they're still trying to suss out a little bit of rhythm. Still trying to suss out a bit of rhythm. It might have to be set plays that carry them across the line if they are to salvage a draw, or dare I say even come back to win this. They might have to be very pragmatic. Hooked over the top by Shackleton. He was looking for Kapek, but the keeper, Clark Ismail, who hasn't been overly busy today, was right on top of that one. 59th minute approaching. 2-0 Langara. Out of town scoreboard. VIU and Capilano at the half. VIU still up 1-0 and on pace for their first win of the season, which would do Langara tons of favors now, especially after grabbing the 2-goal lead here at the Langley Event Center, home of the WHL Giants, the local junior hockey team, as well as the Vancouver Bandits, the basketball club, CEBL level. And of course, Vancouver FC of the CPL, who actually booked themselves a spot to fight for the Canadian Championship. And they'll take on fellow Vancouver club Whitecaps from MLS. Kapek. Rodriguez Segarra, tidy little ball to his left for Kobe Monte, who saw the incoming tackle of the Douglas defender, number 14, Oliver Thorpe, who is another substitution that I hadn't spotted on the far side. Segarra does ever so well to win the ball back there with Shackleton ready to poach it away from him. Long aerial floated diagonal ball to Kobe Monte, who gets mugged off the ball but cleanly. Good tackle there. You love to see it. Tyler Bernabe, who's now on the carry. He's got a head full of steam too. Just puts on the brakes ever so slightly. Gets wiped out by Rodriguez Segarra. A long pacey cross flashes across the 18-yard line. Kerr couldn't get it. If he did, Zion Adlam looked like he had him buttoned up tightly. Clark Ismail now. Nakanishi. Ooh, just loses out on the tackle there. Ooh, that's robust. Suchitani. Rintaro Suchitani. Fellow fellow Japanese player there. Just wipes out Nakanishi. It was a good duel for position with their bodies, I should say, and Tsuchitani said, let's get dangerous, and just threw out a studded challenge, and Nakanishi's lucky he's in one piece after that one. Good bit of goalkeeping and defending from Filip Kapik and Matthew Miller there as they kept Owen Holscher at bay. The wind just picking up here at the Langley Event Center. The sun is tucked behind the clouds as well. It was smoking hot probably an hour ago, but it's become actually a really nice fall day to play some soccer in. Maji Mohammadi dragged back from behind by Shimada. Right call there by the referee as Haji Mohammadi was just scampering away, and Shimada had to water ski on him just to keep pace with him. Good play there by Haji Mohammadi. All the big lads queuing up at the back post for Douglas. And like I said, set pieces might have to be the way home, because as it looks on the deck through the run of play, Langara looked to be getting the better of the Royals. Clip ball to the back post, flies over the head of Talarico. I think Bernabe was the closest to it. And he couldn't strong himself into the way of that one. 62nd minute, 2-0 Langara, Shimada, and a PK from David Rodriguez-Zagara. Adlam wins the second ball. Looked like he might have been bumped ever so slightly. That'll hit the hand of Tsuchitani. And it'll go the way of Langara. 63rd minute, 2-0 for the Falcons. The champion Falcons, I should say, who, if things go the way they're going this year, they've been fairly consistent. I don't see any reason why they can't go ahead and win the PACWEST and get themselves that bye to skip the semifinals and go straight to the finals for a second straight year. Adlam's in a bit of a spot here. He needs help. He has surrounded by 3 green shirts. Rodriguez-Zagara lose the throw-in, but hoops it up in the air, which gives his team just enough time to regroup and settle themselves. Sardoki, good duel there with Bajgare. Bajgare just pokes it out into throw. Into touch, I should say. Oh, that's a dicey tackle there from Shackleton, albeit after the play. It was a bang-bang play. Nothing malicious about it from Shackleton, but he was definitely late to the party, and I'm just trying to see the number of the player down at Shimada, who got absolutely pile-driven there by Shackleton. It'll be a free kick for, I believe it's a free kick for the Royals. And they'll have to piece Shimada back together after that one. Substitution upcoming for Douglas. They're going to bring back on Jack Spencer from North Van. Spencer won't be admitted into this one. It's floated into the top of the 18. It almost was helped on by Tsuchitani there, but Langara have now got the chance to break. Kobe Monty. Owen Holscher's the late run. Kobe Monty's going to go for goal! My goodness, he hits the side of the net. He almost got that. My goodness me. I didn't think it was on from that distance, but once it left his foot, I said to myself, this one might have a little bit of a chance. Whew. It's swashbuckling defending. Goalkeeping, I should say, from Matthew Miller, but even more swashbuckling offensive play from Kobe Monty, who might have been up for goal of the year candidate with that one. Good awareness by Monty as Miller had crept off his line, and I think that might have sealed the deal at 3-0. We're in the 65th minute. It's 2-0 Langara, and Douglas will now make the swap Jack Spencer in for Shackleton. 66th minute, 2-0 Langara. Adlam with a throw on a half line. It looks like he just wants to barrel it forward, and he does. Helped on by Owen Holscher. Shimada's having a real tough time getting around the broad frame of Philip Kapek. He fouls his man. Free kick for Douglas. We'll have a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. I believe VIU and Capilano are still scoreless, or I beg your pardon, still at halftime. VIU leading 1-0. Yeah, indeed that is the case. 1-0 at the half for VIU, indeed. Adlam plays the ball off of Spencer. Shimada goes inside, then outside, then back inside on Sardoki. Rodriguez Zagara tried to play kind of a cutback ball in for Holscher, who was battling it out there with Sardoki, and Sardoki now just having a word with the linesman. And I think I have to agree with the Douglas left back. Owen Holscher was on him like a cheap suit, and he could not shake him. A little bit of mercy, though, as the linesman and the official finally blow their whistle, and Sardoki gets a chance to carry forward. 67th minute, 2-0 Langara. Holscher. Suchitani, good ball there. This has actually opened up nicely for Douglas. Spencer spreads it to the left for the number 14, Thorpe. Gets inside the box, Thorpe. He's just run out of options, though. It's good defending by Talarico. He jockeyed him, kept him honest, and a little bit of help from Tyler McCall as well. Just when it looked like Suchitani, or I beg your pardon, Thorpe might be able to tap dance into the penalty box and create something, Langara just put up a wall, and there was nowhere for him to go. Sardoki. Kerr. Oh, Jack Spencer's gotten the better of Adlam. Can he get across? He does. Oh, crucial interception by Talarico. If Talarico doesn't put a deflection on that, that's a free wrap on net for Thorpe. Great play there from Talarico. Good play by Jack Spencer as well, though, to get inside on Adlam and play in a really good cross. So Douglas are not out of this by a long shot, and Langara definitely need to watch themselves here. 68th minute, 2-0 Langara. This is promising. Douglas in the area. Nutmeg is just too much, though, and Adlam provides the cover that needed a cutback. It was Leo Ahn who had done ever so well. He was gliding at one point there. It looked like he was floating into the penalty box. I just think it was that extra nutmeg that wasn't necessary. I think it was crying out for a cutback to the top of the box or even the penalty dot. They had options. It will be a corner kick. 69th minute, 2-0 Langara. The wind has really picked up here at the LEC. It's gotten a little gloomy as well. Rain calling for around 7 o'clock, but we might see some early showers. It was a high of 22 earlier, but it's probably ducked down to around 17 or 18. Ball to the top of the box. Quinto, not the top of the box, the top of the 6-yard box. Quinto was the closest to it, but he got muscled out there. Rodriguez Zagara has a chance to break with the ball now. Into Holscher. It's just a bit behind Holscher. He couldn't stretch out there to get it. Oh, wow. And now the Douglas bench is absolutely incensed. That was about as clear a corner kick as there was. And everyone was bellowing for it. And the referee has got that call wrong. And it comes at a time where Douglas were kind of knocking at the chamber door. And they wanted to extend that press there, didn't they? Nobody was happy with that call. And it's definitely the right one if you're a Douglas fan, because that looked like it took a clear deflection off a Langara set of legs. 70th minute, 2-0 for Langara. And Douglas just not getting the rub of the green in this match so far. Holscher, he has the switch for Monty if he wants it. He gets it there. Great bit of defending there, but Monty's actually skipped his fellow number 2. Still in the area, Monty. It was Bernabe who flew in there to try and get the ball off Monty first time, but Monty kind of just let it roll past him, almost dummied himself. Good battle there between the two number 2s on the far left touchline. Omaru tries Tried to get it forward for Rodriguez Zagara. Haji Mohammadi was closest to it. Haji Mohammadi wasn't happy that Rodriguez Zagara poked the ball away. It's actually the first time I've gotten to see the keeper turn around for Douglas. They've actually made a keeper substitution as well, have they? The number 99 coming in for Matthew Miller. Mateo Lamont. He carves out a very Matthew Miller-esque frame in between the sticks, but it wasn't until a couple moments ago I actually got to see him turn his jersey around and see the number 9. Manome's into this game as well, the number 20 for Langara. They've made a sub. The sub's coming hot and heavy here in this second half. Good ball forward there for Spencer, but Omuro is right on top of it. Thumps it clear. We're back underway. VIU and Capilano. That's now in the 48th minute. The Mariners still up 1-0. Oof. Looked like Tallarico might have just got a chunk of his man there, but he won the ball cleanly. Spreads it into the middle of the park for Nakanishi. We're in the 72nd minute, still 2-0 Langara. Tallarico, who's been excellent today, whether it's been providing cover or just doing his initial job. Dante Tallarico, the number 13, has been bang on. Long stinger forward right up Main Street. It ends up drifting into the right channel for Owen Holscher. Philippe Capek, who once again gets his interceptions 90% of the time, and they're always fairly tidy. Love the defending of the number 4 for Douglas. Thorpe, who's been busy since he's come on. He's going to take on Nakanishi. Cuts back inside for An. Looked like he got dragged back there by Kobe Monty. The referee says play on. There's been a lot of those calls today where it's been a green shirt and a sea of white, and there looked like there might have been the slightest bit of argy-bargy or some pullbacks, but the referee is elected to play on. And we'll still go back to that penalty decision that drew a yellow card from Douglas coach Robbie Tour. For my money, seemed like a bit of a harsh call. But the Langara Falcons won't care. They buried that PK and they're up 2-0. If we're being honest, the Falcons have been the better of the two squads over the run of play in this 74 minutes or so, but I can't imagine the extra salt in the wound for Douglas of a potential controversial penalty kick does them any favors. Out of town scoreboard down the 50th minute. VIU still up on Capilano 1-0, and that helps Langara. If both of those results were to hold, Langara would go on 12 points, Cap on 7, Douglas on 6, VIU on 4. So a 5-point gap between first and second, which works just the charm if you're a Falcon supporter. Thorpe. Inside to his right foot. Shimmying, shaking, juking, jiving, back inside for Spencer. Turns, has a crack! Oh, that's about as far as Douglas has come to, close as Douglas have come to scoring a goal today. That's a great little worked play there. I think maybe the flag had just gone offside. We're going to see a substitution here. The number 10, Iwasaki. Shinsuke Iwasaki will come on for Langara, but what a little spell of play there from Thorpe and Spencer, who, like I said, Thorpe had done really the hard work of cruising past two Langara defenders and opening up the play for Spencer. And Spencer from, let's call it what it is, pretty acute angle. He was almost at the goal line. Just tried to side foot that one across the 6-yard box and pick out that far post of Clark Ismail's net, but it was just agonizingly inches wide. Very good chance there for Douglas, probably their best of the match. Sardoki wins the header into the middle of the park. It's collected, though, by Langara. Iwasaki, his first touch is a spread ball for Monty, but it's picked off, albeit temporarily. Bernabe just couldn't keep it alive, and Kobe Monty did very well to get back and win it back for the Falcons. We're in the 76th minute. It's 2-0 Langara. Dispossessed again, Iwasaki. Suchitani gets wiped out there by Tyler McCall. The referee's playing advantage, and they kept the ball, thankfully, for Suchitani. He's back up. That was a late tackle. I wouldn't be surprised if a late yellow was brandished there, because McCall took everything in the kitchen sink, crossing to the top of the puck. Number 9, Jack Spencer! Chests it down, has a lash. It's charged down by Zion Adlam. Good play so far from Spencer since coming back into this one in the second half. This has looked promising. Look at Douglas now. They look like they've got their tails up. Good defending again by Talarico, though, to just muscle his man off the ball in the penalty box. Manome to Rodriguez. Zagara has to take on Capek. Cuts inside on his left. Still going on his left centrally. Spreads the play to Kobe Monty. They need to get some bodies in the box if they want to whip one in. Looks like Monty wants to go for a dribble. He's going to get there. He's got time and space now. Monty to the top of the area. The penalty dot, I beg your pardon. It's taken away by Thorpe, and they'll have a chance to carry forward. Will Langara. That's a robust tackle. Talarico, just a step behind. Clobbers his man Spencer. Double substitution upcoming here for Douglas. They're going to bring back on Eamon Samadine, and they're also going to bring back on Spencer Millette. Out-of-town scoreboard watching. 53rd minute, still 1-0 for VIU over Capilano. 77th minute here, so 13-minute plus change ticking down on Douglas's chances to potentially draw level, or dare I say, find a late winner. Long floated ball right on the penalty dot. Adlam just lets it bounce, and the keeper, Clark Ismail, has no trouble coming out for that one. The nearest was Jack Spencer, but even he didn't really make an attempt on that second ball. A little bit of halfway ball back from Adlam. Thankfully for him, Clark Ismail hadn't sucked all the way back onto his goal line, or that might have been a free run on net for Samadine. Haji Mohammadi wins that one. Millette floats one into the back post. All the big boys are there. Samadine there. The ball bobbles around off a couple sets of backs, but Samadine lost the flight of the ball and couldn't connect with it. Kobe Monty's going to poke it past his man, Suchitani, and go for a run. Switch of play from Kobe Monty. Might actually find Manome. Manome's going to press the issue here against Bernabe, who plays his way out of that one with ease. Good play by the number 2 in Douglas. And Kerr just gets fronted by Adlam, who's going to go on a magical mystery tour now. Look at this dribble. Running out of options, Adlam, he wins the throw-in, though. Good play by the Langara center back. Langara would improve to 2-0 on the season against Douglas, which is just one of those feathers in your cap for when you hit the playoffs, having the confidence to know you can turn over a team. Substitution upcoming for Mark Rosardo's Falcons. Tyler McCall will make his way onto the bench, and the number 3, Diaz Avedo Lopez. Pedro, first name from Burnaby. He is into this affair now, just as the wind picks up too. Sardoki just shields Holscher, shepherds the ball out into touch, and Mateo Lamont will clutch and claim this one. Capek. Little space for Sardoki to carry forward, but David Rodriguez, who's playing a more advanced role in this game. He's usually kind of not a box-to-box, but not a 6. He's not an out-and-out 10 either, though. But he's definitely more advanced in this affair. Zagara for Manome. Takes turns, roulettes, tries to get it forward for Holscher, who has to split the wickets between two green shirts. He can't get there. Kapik is first on the scene. Foul from Holscher. Just hangs the big leg on number 4, Kapik. From Port Coquitlam, 6'1". But he looks taller out there. He's a very tall 6'1". Sardoki lifts a floater in the left channel. Had a lot of backspin on it, but Adlam wasn't taking any chances. He right foots it out into touch. It'll be a throw in. 81st minute, 2-0 Langara. Shimada and Rodriguez Zagara with the goals. Lopez just being begged not to foul. That's a good looking cross. Back post. Kerr was there. But I think Talarico had the better of him body position wise. 81st minute, 2-0 still for the Falcons. And this wind is really ripping. Holscher looks like he might slightly be offside. He is. Just a shoe's length offside. Not by much, but it's the right call. Lamont, who hasn't really been tested since coming on as a halftime goalkeeper substitution, I should say. Bit of a sloppy pass there from Iwasaki. Monte. It's table tennis now. Both sets of players are just content to ping it from end to end and try and bypass the midfield. Manome gets the better of Jack Spencer, just comes in from behind to sneak in front. Adlam under pressure. Wow, that's good play there by Adlam. It looked like he was just going to have to hoof it long, but he put on his dancing shoes and managed to wriggle away from Samadine and Haji Mohammadi. Good play there from it. Oh boy, this could be dangerous. Clark Ismail coughs it right up the middle of the park, and Douglas are onto it like a flash. Haji Mohammadi to Mellet, and he tried to get it out wide for Kerr. Mark Rosardo not happy with that clearance. I won't tell you what he just said to the keeper, but it'll definitely give him something to think about when he's laying in bed late tonight, that's for sure. Sports. Tempers will flare. Frustrations will boil over. But at the end of the 90, hopefully it's all forgotten. It's been a robust encounter today between the Royals and the Falcons. 2-0 for Langara. 83rd minute, and time ticking down on Douglas to, I mean, an equalizer I think would be generous. A consolation mark might be more realistic. Manome now. Oh, he steps on the ball. That might put him in a bit of trouble. Adlam's going to come over and try and help him out. Out of town scoreboard watching. We're in the 59th minute. VIU still up on Capilano 1-0. We're in the 84th minute here. It's still 2-0 Langara. Well, that's a great ball to the back post. Spencer to Samadine to Kerr. Good stop. They had 3 cracks there to get that ball on net, Douglas, and they just couldn't find the twine there. A couple mishits. Kerr probably had the best look, and that's towed away by Clark Ismail, who makes amends for a bit of an errant pass a couple minutes ago. Good play there by the keeper for Langara. 84th minute, 2-0 for the Falcons, but it doesn't look like Douglas want to go away quietly here. I've really liked the play of Jack Spencer since coming back on as a substitute. Floated ball to the back post. This one might go out. Kapek nods it back across the 6-yard box, but Clark Ismail clacks it in his breadbasket before Mark Rosardo can tell him to get up. No time wasting on Mark Rosardo's watch. He wants to win this one the old-fashioned way on merit. And Mark Rosardo still giving instructions. They are up 2-0, but I don't think he's liking the low block that Langara have kind of set up here. They've been welcoming on this Douglas attack, and it's getting more and more potent by the minute. Haji Mohammadi to Samadine, right-footed shot. And he was kind of just had his body weight leaning the wrong way, but I think if he got all his muster behind that one, we would be talking about 2-1. That's about the cleanest look Samadine has had all day, and unfortunately he just couldn't get the right purchase on the shot. Frantic times here at the LEC as Langara are desperate to hold on to this 2-0 lead, whereas Douglas just want to cause a bit of nerves. You feel if that one goal could go in, all of a sudden a little bit of belief creeps into the Douglas squad and anything can happen. We're in the 86th minute. It's still 2-0 for the Falcons of Langara. Adlam. Manome. Adlam again, pressed by Haji Mohammadi. Holscher has to try and knock down a frozen rope, and he couldn't redirect it towards Rodriguez Zagara, and Douglas got the ball back. Mark Rizzardo demanding his players to keep their head in the game and remain focused. He doesn't want to see any shut-off in this last 6 minutes or so, which is what happened last year in the finals against Douglas. Douglas down to 10 men, and Langara had played ever so well across the 90, but in 5 minutes it was all washed away because through a bit of luck and just hard work from Douglas and maybe some slack defending Langara, they managed to turn over a 2-0 lead and take the game to extra time. Langara eventually spared their own blushes and won in penalty kicks, but I can't imagine that's a memory that Mark Rizzardo let slip out of his gigabytes, his memory banks. He'll want to see this squad see this one out in a professional manner. Rodriguez Zagara is getting piggybacked now by Thorpe. 87th minute, still 2-0 Langara. Nakanishi leaves it fashionably late to play that one. Jack Spencer almost got in there on him. Kobe Monty taking on Kerr now. Good defending there by Kerr. Plays the ball forward for Samadine, who looked offside, but the flag stays down. Kerr had to take the ball in his stride and actually did well to keep it. That looked like that might get snuffed out. Good ball to the top of the 18-yard box, looking for Haji Mohammadi. Manome was first to it, but all he can do is hoop it up into the Langley sky. 88th minute, 2-0 Langara. Now ball's onside for Owen Holscher. He's going to have a run here in this left channel. He's got Bernabe on his back. He's going to hold up on the left foot. Tried to shimmy in on his right, but good defending there by Bernabe, who just stayed with Holscher the entire run there. Oh, this looks promising from Douglas. Samadine with a good layoff. Haji Mohammadi. Samadine's going to get it back now. Can he roll his defender, Amuria? He almost did, but Nakanishi flew in from behind and aided his fellow Japanese defender. 89th minute, still 2-0 on the out-of-town scoreboard. We're in the 64th minute. VIU still clinging on to a 1-0 lead over Capilano and potentially their first 3 points of the season. Jack Spencer with a rip. Oh, it takes a deflection, but Samadine just carried his run to the goal line. Adlam can only clear it, still in the area. Body over from behind. Referee says goal kick. It looked like shoulder-on-shoulder contact. Kerr is none too pleased with the linesman or the official, who's already gotten a tongue lashing from Robbie Tour, so that might be round 2 after the match. Who knows? For me, it looked like a shoulder-to-shoulder tackle. I don't think Kerr was going anywhere but to the goal line or back to the corner flag. It was well defended by Langara, but you understand why there's a bee in the bonnet of the Douglas bench. They've seen a few calls go against them today that they've, let's say, had a light protest for and might have some subsequent words for. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but hey. Sardoki wins the ball in the air for Samadine, takes it down on his knee, gets it to Haji Mohammadi, but it wasn't a clean pass, was it? Rodriguez Zagara was just able to snap in there and win the foul. I'm not sure what happened there. I think just coming together. Rodriguez Zagara, who's a stout lad, finds himself on the deck. We're in the 90th minute now, and I don't think there's a ton of added time to speak of, but barring something fantastic from Douglas or extremely sloppy from the Falcons, this result might just be academic. Adlam gets stepped on there by Jack Spencer, and he gives a bit of a war cry, which I think maybe influenced the referee's decision ever so slightly. A big cry of disgust was kind of emitted from the Douglas bench. They weren't having any of that. Yeah, maybe just, I think Jack Spencer was just a little bit too energetic there and just unfortunately just nipped the heels ever so slightly of Adlam, which it's an uncomfortable thing. Adlam will carry on, but it's just one of those things. Like when you're walking in the mall and somebody steps on the back of your shoe by accident in tight quarters. It's not nice. It doesn't feel nice. Adlam lifts the ball to the corner flag. That's actually a really good touchdown by Manome, who's actually kept it in here. Manome still going. Linesman was right there. Pokes it in for Holscher. It's eventually cleared, only as far as Capek. And now Thorpe. Eventually that goes the way of Douglas as Capek was dragged back. Not a ton of time left here. Douglas will need to be on their best behavior and swift with their time management here if they're even going to get a consolation marker. Capek for Suchitani. Oh, that's picked off. Iwasaki lifts it over for Holscher. Can he put in some service? He might just try and hold on to it and wind down the clock. It's actually really well played by Holscher. And now for Rodriguez Zagara. Good play by Zagara to hold the ball. He doesn't bait the tackle either. Manome back to Zagara. Rodriguez Zagara. Oh, Suchitani flies in for a tackle. And Rodriguez Zagara, he's so, like I said, stout. He's got a good low center of gravity. He's got a good core. He can kind of just duck the shoulder and lean his tree trunk legs into you, and there's not much you can do but just try and piggyback off him and try and get the ball off him somehow. He's a very good protector of the ball, that's for sure. And that's a very thankless job. You're getting booted and hacked and whacked a lot doing that. Not a lot of guys like to do that. I'm putting up my hand. I was one of those guys. Put me on the wing, put me up front, fine. Give me 10 yards of space, fine. But don't put me in the phone booth with the likes of David Rodriguez Zagara. That's where the real work is done in the boiler room of the midfield, and he's one of the best to do it at this level. Short throw for Adlam. Takes it off the chest as Rodriguez Zagara. Still going. He's got some time to spread it if he wants to. Great pass there. Finds Lopez. And they got Kobe Monty far left. They'll get it there. And Langara doing an excellent job just of professionally running down the clock here. What a change of pace there from Kobe Monty, who skins Kerr. Tries to float a ball into the penalty box. Oh, Capek went for that bite kick clearance again. He must have heard my broadcast. Oh, and that'll be a foul on Capek, will it? Goes the other way, perhaps an offside flag there, as the wind really starting to whip here now in Langley. Sardoki. Time ticking down here. We have Zion Adlam down on the park. He's holding his head. Maybe a clash of noggins just behind the play. And I think the referee just talking with Robbie Tour, who's asking about time wasting. I think the referee just kind of gesticulated to him that there ain't much time left, coach. Suchitani, Sardoki. Ooh, tries to nutmeg Iwasaki, but Iwasaki closed the wickets just in the nick of time. Rodriguez Zagara takes a couple whacks and a couple knees and somehow gets away with it. You have to give the credit to Samadine, who's still putting up the chase up front. And that will be the full-time whistle from the lips of the referee. Langara, a very professional 2-0 victory. Shimada opened the scoring on the left foot in the 6th minute of the first half. A little bit of a controversial call in the second half on the PK. David Rodriguez Zagara slots home, and Langara saw it out from there. Not a ton of chances on net for Douglas today. Jack Spencer probably coming the closest. Kerr was in the mix. Samadine there as well. Francois too. But the Langara defense, they bent, but they did not break. It was very good, calm defending today from the Langara Falcons, who with the victory go 5 points clear atop the table. They now sit on 12 points, Capilano on 7, Douglas on 6, and VIU on 4. And of course, Capilano and VIU. Oh, I beg your pardon, something has just changed. VIU 1, Capilano 1. So that would put VIU to 2 points, Cap on 8, Douglas on 6, Langara on 12. So the gap has been shrunk to 4 from the 5 that Langara potentially had, but still a very good weekend for the Falcons, as they'll escape at least a couple points atop the table. Maybe if Capilano come back against VIU, it could be a different story, but some out-of-town scoreboard watching now for the Falcons as they head to the locker room. Douglas, meanwhile, they've dropped 3 straight and sit in 3rd place, and they'll need to be on their best behavior moving forward if they're going to make a press towards the playoffs and keep themselves in respectable stead. The early encounter was the women's affair. Langara and Douglas tying 1-1. VIU beat up Capilano. I believe the final there was 4-0, which means VIU women go perfect on the season so far. 5 wins from 5 matches, 15 points. Langara sit on 10 points. Douglas on 4. And Capilano, ladies, rooted to the foot of the table on 0 and might already be in damage control in this early half of the PACWEST season. We're back next week, September 27th. Kickoffs at 1 o'clock and 3:30 here, respectfully, at the LEC, and we will have the call for you then. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here from Willoughby Park, the Langley Event Center. Another PACWEST doubleheader in the books. The first match, Langara and Douglas tying 1-1. The second match, Langara men take care of business 2-0 to extend their lead atop the table. Once again, my name Corey Basso. Big thanks to cameraman Rodrigo, our statistician Sean Shook down at field level, and a cast of thousands behind the scenes here. We thank you so much for watching, and do tune in next weekend for more PAC